When you're doing analysis, you're going to come across a lot of predominant chords, and these two examples are just going to help us see what some of the possibilities are. As we move forward, you're going to find that there are many chords, especially the highly chromatic chords, that fit into the predominant category. Augmented 6, Neapolitan 6, 7, diminished 7 of 5, all those kinds of chords are predominant because they lead to the dominant. Let's see what these are here. In this first phrase, I've left out the label here. It's going 1, 4, 5, 1 in the bass. I like to start with that bass motion, and already if I see a scale degree 4 going up to 5, I know that that's going to have to be some kind of predominant there. Now if the 4 had come down to scale degree 3, then it might be a plagal chord. It might be a 4 that moves to a 1-6. It might be a 5-4-2 that resolves to a 1-6. That's different, but see how much information I can just get from the fact that that 4 went up. It's got to be predominant. So let's look at the chord. If it's got scale degree 4 in the bass, it could be a 4, it could be a 2-6, and it may have some chordal 7th in there. It might be embellished in various ways. Let's check it out. So notice what I'm doing. I'm taking the bass line and saying I can already tell quite a bit about it. It's probably this or it's that. And looking for something is faster than coming at it from just a blank slate asking what is it. So with some expectations I can think, all right, is this an A major chord? A, C sharp, E, and there's a C sharp. There's one note that doesn't fit. So it basically looks like a 4. Let's check it out. If I write 4 there, will that account for everything? We've got to account for this note. It doesn't fit that chord. It's not a 2 though, not a scale degree 2. We're in E. So what's a leading tone doing there? Well, maybe you can see the passing motion going on there. That is an accented passing tone. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm saying, I bet it's a 4 or a 2-6. Let me check it out. Is it a 4? Well, yeah, we got all the notes except one, and as long as I can explain every note as being either part of that chord or embellishing, I'm good. Now that sounds like I take a long time, but actually that becomes a very fast process of making a couple educated guesses based on the phrase model, your knowledge of the phrase model, and this particular bass line, making a guess, looking for those notes, and then making sure you can account for everything going on in the measure. That's actually a very quick process. Let's do the next layer down, which will be our functions. Tonic, that's easy. Dominant, basic phrase model, and now fleshed out with a predominant chord. Why predominant? Because it's one of those chords that leads into the dominant and doesn't fit the tonic function. Okay, so tonic, predominant, dominant, tonic, that's the phrase model complete. No embellishment, no embellishing chords. That's going to change down here. Let's shift to this Haydn example. Very beautiful melody. You should listen to it. It's pretty neat because I've just cut it out as a phrase, so there's nothing extra outside of it. One phrase in 5 bars. There's a missing chord here. Again, it's scale degree 4 in the bass, moving up to a tonic 1. This is in F minor. 4, 5, 1, marking the cadence. Okay, so that's got to be a predominant chord with it moving up like that. Make a guess. Maybe it's a 4 chord. If that's true, B flat, D flat, F would be my guess. Well, wait a minute. There's a G already. That doesn't fit. But a G is scale degree 2 if I'm in F. So maybe it's a 2 chord. Like so. Let's check that out. So that'd be G, B flat, D flat. D flat, good. G flat, B flat, D flat, and a bunch of passing motion. Okay, everything fits except for some passing motion here, and it looks like an anticipation maybe of that. Okay, so that all works out. I can say all the main notes are part of this chord, and there are a couple embellishing tones in there as well. I can account for everything in terms of this one chord. Its function is going to have to be predominant because it goes to the dominant right after. Okay, here's a dominant tonic, right? Okay, now wait a minute. The phrase model, the main elements, the main function bearing chords are the 1, the 2, 6, diminished 6, the 5, 7, and the 1. So maybe we can take this as embellishment. And there's a big hint right there that a big cue for us. The inversion of that 5 makes it unstable, and so it's more likely to be embellishing. Again, we've got this contrast. Stability to create the cadence, that solid motion from one separate place to another. And here, where it's more like the spinning of wheels, you're not really getting away from the tonic, you're just embellishing it. So let me replace that dominant, which gives it a lot of weight, and replace it with a symbol here that shows how it's embellishing. How do we label it? By the bass motion. That's neighboring motion, so I'll write an N. And I'm really done, but just to be sure, notice its context. Here's the top part moving up by step. I know there's a bunch of extra quarter leaps and such in there, but the main contour of that line is a rising, passing motion. If we were to break this down to first species, we'd have just these two notes, just these two notes, the downbeats. And so you can see the passing motion there. Here's passing motion as well. Here's a motion up to C, which is a scale degree 5, a common tone between these two chords. So no motion there, but a leap ahead of it. Overall, though, it's clear that we're getting passing motion in two upper parts. We're labeling it neighboring, though, because of the bass. It features the neighboring motion. This phrase then elaborates the tonic using a neighboring chord, moves to the predominant, and then cadences with tonic, dominant to tonic motion. Tonics up top, that's our PAC.